students, welcome to our English classroom. This is Abigail Meraga, working as School Assistant English in Jilla Parishad High School, Jonalgad of Guntur district. Children, I am ready with an interesting story to teach you. Are you ready for that? Okay. Now, I am going to ask you a question. Do you like stories? How many of you like stories? What type of stories do you like? Yes, very good. We all love to listen to the stories which are interesting and humorous, isn't it? But, however, everyone cannot be a good story narrator. But here we are going to see a man by name Iswaran who is a master storyteller. He is not only a storyteller but also he is a good cook and he prepares delicious dishes and also he keeps the things very clean and tidy. So today our story's name is Iswaran the storyteller, written by R.K. Lakshman. Children, shall we get into the story? Okay, this story revolves around two persons. One is Mahendra and the other one is Iswaran. So before getting into the lesson in detail, let's have a look on the overview of the lesson. Okay, students? Okay, here we go. Students, under overview, we have before you read, that is introduction, reading activity, and then we have question and answers. Students, under reading activity, we have think about it, talk about it, and suggested reading. Students, before getting into the lesson, let's know the learning objectives of this lesson. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify the gist of the story, recognize the difference between natural and unnatural world, discuss the theme of the story and how a natural world affects our natural minds, express personal reflection on the story and how it relates to life, and summarize the key takeaways from the story and its message about what we think we become. Student, shall we know the main aim and purpose of supplementary reader? Okay, here it is. The lesson is basically taught for understanding of the story. The supplementary reader is particularly prescribed to enhance pupils' reading skills. It helps their skill in silent reading with a reasonable speed. Read the lesson, try to understand it, and answer the question given at the end of the lesson. And finally, it is meant for extensive reading, so is designed to promote a love for reading. Students, before getting into the lesson in detail, let's know about the author. The lesson, Iswaran the Storyteller, is written by R.K. Lakshman. Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Lakshman was born on 24th October 1924. He was an Indian cartoonist, illustrator, and humorist. He is best known for his creation, The Common Man, and for his daily cartoon strip, You Said It in the Times of India, which started in 1951. He left the world on 26 January 2015 at the age of 93. Students, R.K. Lakshman, he received Padma Bhushan Award in 1973 and Padma Vibhushan in 2005 and Raman Magsaysay Award in the year 1984. He is the brother of R.K. Narayan, a famous writer of India. Now let's get into the lesson. The opening lines of the story, Iswaran, the storyteller, goes like this. One night, Mahendra woke up from his sleep and saw a dark cloudy form. He broke out into a cold sweat. Was it a ghost? Now let's get into our lesson. Students, now I am going to read the first paragraph of the lesson Iswaran the Storyteller. Listen to me carefully. The story was narrated to Ganesh by a young man, Mahendra by name. He was a junior supervisor in a firm which offered on hire supervisors at various types of construction sites, factories, bridges, dams, and so on. Mahendra's job was to keep an eye on the activities at the worksite. He had to keep moving from place to place every now and then, as ordered by his head office, from a coal mining area to a railway bridge construction site, from there, after a few months, to a chemical plant which was coming up somewhere. Students, now I will read the first line and you have to repeat after me. So you'll have the story on page number 12 of Supplementary Reader Movements. Okay, children, let's get started. The story was narrated to Ganesh by a young man, Mahendra by name. He was a junior supervisor in a firm which offered on hire supervisors at various types of construction sites, factories, bridges, dams, and so on. Mahendra's job was to keep an eye on the activities at the work site. He had to keep moving from place to place every now and then as ordered by his head office, from a coal mining area to a railway bridge construction site. From there, after a few months, to a chemical plant which was coming up somewhere. Excellent, students. You have done a great job. You repeated in a very beautiful way. Let's move on to our lesson. Students, now I will explain the meaning of the first paragraph. Mahendra was a supervisor in a firm. His job was to keep an eye on the activities at the construction site. He had to move from one place to another. As he was a bachelor, he could adjust himself to all conditions. So he can adjust himself anywhere because there are no responsibilities other than his job. Children, now let's know the summary of the lesson, Iswaran, the storyteller. Are you ready for that? Okay. The summary goes like this. Mahendra had a cook named Iswaran who had an amazing capacity in cooking. He would miraculously conjure up the most delicious dishes made with fresh vegetables within an hour arriving at the zinc sheet shelter at the new workplace. Okay, children? So, he is a very good cook. He can prepare any kind of food within no time, and he makes very delicious, that means very tasty, within no time. And he always uses the fresh vegetables, and also he keeps his house very clean. He washes his clothes and cooks delicious food, and then he keeps the house tidy and very clean. Ishwaran had a unique style of narrating stories, even for the smallest event or incident. So, even for small things, he will use a different style of narrating stories. He used to read Tamil thriller to doze off after lunch. He had imaginative material, suitable gestures, giving a variety of endings to the stories. It's an imaginative description and narrative flourishes would hold Ishwaran in thrall. One day Ishwaran told a story of a tusker which was escaped from the timber yard and created panic among the people by tearing the creepers and breaking the branches and smashed all the fruit stalls. People ran helter skelter in panic. Ishran was then a junior student. He got a cane and struck the grunted elephant's toenail. It shivered from head to foot and fell down. Children, this elephant, the tusker, broke the fences like mastics, broke the mud pots, clothes, and entered the school, and all the children ran into the classroom and shut the doors. It grunted and wandered, pulled the football goalposts, tearing the volleyball net, uprooting the shrubs, and kicked the water drums. All the teachers climbed up the terrace of the school building, and from there they saw the deprivation of the tusker. A veterinary doctor was called, and after 2 days, the tusker was sent with the mahout to the jungle. Ishwaran was asked how did he manage to do it. He told that with the Japanese martial arts, karate or jujitsu, etc. Ishwaran told Mahendra about the place the factory area was once a graveyard and told that he saw a ghost of a woman with matted hair and dried up face with a fetus in its arm. And he said that he saw a skull on the road, but he was not frightened as he was very brave. On hearing Ishwaran's story, Mahendra frightened and called Ishwaran crazy. He told that there were no ghosts, but they were the products of mind only. From that time, Mahendra had unease every night and started peered into darkness to see whether there was any movement over there. After Ishran's story, Mahendra completely stopped admiring the sky on full moon nights. One night, Mahendra was woken up from his sleep by a low moan close to his window, but the sound was too guttural for a cat. He resisted to look out, but the wailing became louder and less feline. He looked out and saw a dark, cloudy form. It was clutching a bundle. He perspired and panted. Then he realized and thought it could have been a trick of his subconscious mind. Next morning, Mahendra got ready to go to office. The horror of the previous night had faded. Ishran came and greeted him. He told him about the ghost. He told Mahendra that he also had heard the moan the previous night. A chill went down Mahendra's spine. He did not wait for Ishwaran to complete his sentence. He hurried away to his office and handed his papers, resolving to leave the haunted place the very next day. Students, let's know the moral of the story, the lesson, Iswaran, the storyteller. The moral of the story is that we should not believe the superstitious stories but try to find out scientific reasons behind it for unusual happenings. Iswaran was a multi talented person. We can learn the values of dedication, creativity, and cheerfulness. Children, you have to cultivate the habit of dedication, creativity, and cheerfulness. Okay, children? Students, let's conclude the story. The story is set around two persons, the master and his loyal servant, or the source of entertainment for him. Ishwaran was very good at telling anecdotes and tell stories with utmost expressions. His talking ability was very fine, and listeners got captivated till the end and makes the story alive. Children, do you want to become a good storytellers? Okay, I'll give you some tips. So while narrating story, you can use them. Okay? Children, do you want to become a good storytellers like Ishvara? So keep the things in your mind which I am going to show you on the screen. Okay? So if you want to become a good storyteller, you need to have these things in your mind. So there should be some adventure in your storytelling, then humor, horror should be there, and then you have to create a kind of suspense to the audience and the listeners, and then you have to use gestures, body language, and facial expressions, and also voice modulation. So don't forget, so while narrating the stories, you have to make use of these tips, and I wish that you should become a good storytellers. Okay, children? Students, let's know the meanings for the new words. You can see the word and also the meaning. Enthrall means the state of being someone's power or slave. Depredation, attacks made to destroy something. Guttural sound, sound produced in the throat, harsh sound. Feline, feline means related to cat's family. Landscape, landscape means view of land. Students, let's know meanings for some other words. Conjure up, do something with magic. Delicious, delicious means tasty. Dozing off, sleeping mood. Creeper, creeper means wine. Then grunted, made out of trumpet. Horror, horror means great fear. Imagination, thinking power. Students, I hope you enjoyed the story. You came to know the summary and also the meanings for the new words. And now it's time for comprehension check. Students, here is your question on the screen. Which art helped Ishwaran to bring down the beast? Your options are A. Yoga, B. Wrestling, C. Jiu-Jitsu, D. Boxing. Now, who is ready with your answer? Okay, Jiu-Jitsu. Very good. It is a Japanese martial arts. Good job. Here is your question on the screen. Where did the schoolboys hide to see the tusker? Your options are A. On the tree, B. In the house, C. In the classroom, D. In the ground. Who is ready with your answer? Okay, C. In the classroom. Good job. Here comes your question on the screen. Why did the people run helter-skelter in panic? Your options: to see a ghost, to see the elephant, to see the tiger, none of the above. So, who is ready to give me answer? Okay, proceed. To see the elephant. Option B is the right answer. Well done. Here comes your question on the screen. In Iswaran's story, from where the tusker escaped, your options are A. Timberyard, B. Cage, C. Forest, D. Circus. So whose turn is to give me answer for this? Okay. A timber yard. Very good. Your option A is timber yard. Excellent. Excellent. Here comes your question on the screen. Ishwaran had an amazing capacity. What was it? Your options are A. Chopping down the trees, B. Producing vegetables and cooking, C. Playing games, D. Visiting shops. So who is ready to give me answer? Very good. B. Producing vegetables and cooking. Well done. Students, match the following words with their meanings. So you can give me one by one. Landscape. Very good. View. And who is ready to give me answer for depredation? Go ahead. Very good. Attacks made to destroy something. Then delicious means excellent, tasty. And then who will give me answer for dozing off? Sleeping mode. And then horror. So whose turn is to give me answer? Very good. Great fear. So here landscape means view of land. Depredation means attack made to destroy something. Delicious means tasty. Dozing off means sleeping mode. Horror means great fear. Well done. Students, let's do exercise under think about it under comprehension check. Shall we start? Okay. Your question on the screen. In what way is Ishwaran an asset to Mahendra? So far you have listened to the lesson and summary. Now you can give me answer. Okay. Who is on the line to give me answer? Go ahead. Ishwaran cooks food, washes his clothes, keeps his house clean and packs food. He is a good entertainer. So he is an asset to Mahendra. Excellent. Great job. Now let's see the second question under think about it. How does Ishwaran describe the uprooted tree on the highway? What effects does he want to create in his listeners? Okay, go ahead. Ishwaran described in a dramatic way by using gestures, body language, voice modulation, creating suspense, and so on, which made the listeners feel emotionally. Good job. Your next question on the screen. How does he narrate the story of the tusker? Does it appear to be plausible? Your answer, please. He narrated the story of Tusker with great confidence. He created a background sound effects. With this, he convinced the listeners as if there was something unusual or supernatural incident. Good job. Here comes your question on the screen. Why does the author say that Iswaran seemed to more than make up for the absence of a TV in Mahendra's living quarters. Go ahead. He is a great storyteller, builds up suspense. He gives entertainment like a television. Well done. Here comes your question on the screen. Mahendra calls ghosts or spirits a figment of the imagination. What happens to him on a full moon night? Who is ready with your answer? Mahendra calls ghosts or spirits a figment of the imagination. He saw a cloudy form on the full moon night which had a bundle and thought it was a female ghost. She is clutching a fetus. Ishwaran told him about this earlier, so he broke into a cold sweat. Very good. Students, here comes your question. Can you think of some other ending for the story? You can imagine and you can give me answer. Okay, go ahead. Okay, I can end the story like this. Mahendra tells that there were no ghosts. What we think in our minds remains for a long time in subconscious state. These are all the products of mind. Well done. Good job. Students, let's see the exercise and talk about it. Is Ishwaran a fascinating storyteller? Discuss with your friends the qualities of a good storyteller. Try to use these qualities and tell a story. Children, I have already told you the qualities and what are the things to be followed while narrating a story. So keep all the things in your mind and work in groups and tell a story. Okay, children? Students, under suggested reading, we have some stories. The Storyteller by Saki H. Munro, The Ghost Stories by Ruskin Bond, The Canterbury Ghost by Oscar Wilde, Prit in the House by Ruskin Bond. Children, if you have time and go through these stories and you can learn a lot how to narrate a story and you can know about the stories related to ghosts and other so on. Okay, children? Students, here is your home task on the screen. Write and narrate the story, Ishwaran the storyteller, in your own words to your friends. Use voice modulation, gestures, facial expressions, and so on, as I have already told you. Children, now what you have to do, you have to write the story first and then narrate it to your friends. Okay, students? I will check in the next class. Students, it's time to wrap our session. So before closing our session, let's recapitulate what we have learned in this session. So we have learned the lesson Ishwaran the storyteller, and we learned about the author, the summary of the lesson, and also I told you to inculcate the habits of dedication and then creativity and also the sincerity in your works, and we came to know the meanings of the new words, and you have wonderfully answered to all the questions under comprehension check, and we have completed the task under think about it, and also you have given home tasks. So children, it's time to say bye-bye to you. We'll meet in another class. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.